techniques of Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, techniques for centering, continues. When an individual goes into deep meditation, and as he enters deeper into the process of meditation, his aura begins to change. This is the second sutra, which says that concentrate on the lotus-like thread in the middle of the spinal column and be transformed. The spinal column is one of the most important part of the body. It connects between the one end of it is your skull, the other end is your anus. It controls the central nervous system. Once again I will speak on the story of Huineng. He was a Chinese master who was working under his master. When Huineng came to his master, the master said, "For what have you come here? There is no need for you to come to me." But Huineng could not understand. Huineng thought that he was not yet ready to be accepted. But the master was seeing something else. He was seeing his aura that was growing at a faster pace. He was saying this, even if you do not come to me, it is bound to happen to you sooner or later. You will attain to it. Anywhere. Some people, they are advanced in their inward journey. They don't need anyone. Just like a very sharp student needs just a hint and he finds the solutions. He is not like the other dull students. So Huineng was one of that. He said, "You are ready for it, so there is no need for you to come." At this, Huineng said, "Why are you rejecting me?" So the master told him that you go behind the monastery in the kitchen of the monastery. It was a big monastery with a large number of monks. The master told Huineng to go behind the monastery in the kitchen and help in the kitchen whatever work is to be given to you. Whenever it will be needed, I will come to you. So no meditation was given to Huineng, no scripture to read, study or meditate upon, nothing. Nothing was taught to him. He was just thrown into the kitchen. The whole monastery was working. There were monks who were working on various techniques. But Huineng was in the kitchen, cleaning the floor, cleaning the rice, and all the ancillary work that was needed to assist in the kitchen area. There were scholars, there were meditators, there was other important persons who will living in the monastery who will come to the kitchen and Huining was busy in cleaning the kitchen work. 12 years passed. Huining did not go again to the master because it was not allowed. He waited and waited and waited, simply waited. He was taken as a servant when the scholars and all of them would come. Meditators would come and no one will pay attention to Huining. Huining was there growing. He remained unnoticed like a plant that remains unnoticed in your garden. There was a big scholar in the monastery. Then the master declared that his death was near. Now he wanted to appoint someone to function in his place as his successor. So he said those who think they are enlightened should compose a small poem of 4 lines, and in those poems you should put all that you have gained. And if I approve any poems and see that the lines show the enlightenment has happened, I will choose that person as my successor. There was a great scholar in the monastery. There was a good competition started and no one attempted the poem because everyone knew that this person is going to win. He was a great knower of scriptures, so he composed 4 lines. Those 4 lines were like this: mind is like a mirror and dust gathers on it. Clean the mirror and you are enlightened. You will like these lines very much. But this great scholar, no matter how great he was, he did not have the courage. He was afraid because the master will know. He already knows who is enlightened and who is not, though he has written it beautiful. It is the essence of all the scriptures. It is said in one of the Zen monasteries, the master said, if you have finished the supper, wash your pot. Even in non-activity, the mind gathers dust. So what he did not go directly to the master. In the night he went to the hut of the master and wrote all the 4 lines on the walls without signing. In this way the master approved and said, okay, this is right. Then he would say, the monk thought, if the master says this is beautiful, it is approved, then he will reveal his identity. If he said no, who has written these lines? Then he would remain silent, he thought. But the master approved. In the morning, master said, who? Okay. He laughed and said, okay. The man who wrote these lines is an enlightened one. So the whole monastery began to talk about it. Everyone knew who has written it. They were discussing and appreciating, and the lines were beautiful, really beautiful. Mind is a mirror. It gathers dust. Clean the dust, you are enlightened. So, when they were in the kitchen drinking tea and they were talking, Huining was serving them. He heard what had happened. The moment he heard those 4 lines, he laughed. and he laughed loud. Someone asked, "Why are you laughing? You fool! Do you know anything? For 12 years you have been serving in the kitchen. Why are you laughing?" No one had even heard him laugh before. He was just taken as an idiot who would not even talk. So he said, "I cannot write, and I am not an enlightened one either. But these lines are wrong. So if someone comes with me, I will compose 4 lines, and if someone comes, he can write it on the wall. I cannot write because I do not know the writing." Someone followed him just as a joke. The crowd came there and Winning said, "Write." What Winning wrote is really the essence of inward journey. There is no mind. There is no mirror. So where can dust gather? One who knows this is enlightened. There is no mind, there is no mirror. So where can the dust gather? One who knows this is enlightened. Same time the master came out and he told Winning, "You are wrong." Winning touched the feet of the master and returned back to his work in the kitchen. In the night, the master came when everyone was asleep. He came to Winning and he said, "You are right. But I could not say that before those learned idiots. They are all learned idiots. If I had said that you are appointed as my successor, they would have killed you. So escape from here. You are my successor, but do not tell it to anyone." And I knew this the day you came to me. Your aura was growing. That is why no meditation was given to you. There was no need. You were already in meditation. The process was continuing from the past. And those 12 years of silence, not doing anything, not even meditation, emptied you completely of your mind, and the aura has become complete, full. You have become a full moon. Escape from here, otherwise they will kill you. You have been here for 12 years and the light has been constantly spreading from you, but no one observed it. And they have been coming to the kitchen. Everyone was coming to the kitchen every day, twice or thrice. Everyone passes through here. That is why I posted you in the kitchen. But no one has recognized you, recognized your aura. You escape from here. This is how it happens. When I was growing, during the summer vacations, the day was long. As soon as my father will come in, I will go out. Right outside the door, there was a compound. The place was rented to some business people. The old time, their office was a platform where the bolsters were placed, and in front of that was a wooden box that was used as a desk, and that was the office. We did not have the radio, so this place or the shop or the wholesale place had the radio, and there was a caretaker who used to stay there in the night. Right outside there were 2 chairs. I will sit down on the chair and remain until I begin to feel sleepy, and then go inside and sleep. That used to continue during all this summer. When the spinal thread is touched, seen and realized, an aura begins to grow around you. In such, be transformed. Be filled with that light and be transformed. This is also a centering in the spinal cord. If you are body oriented, this technique will help you. If you are not body oriented, it is difficult. It will be difficult for you to visualize the spinal column, to visualize inside. Then to look at your body from inside will be difficult. That is why this sutra is more useful for women. Women are body oriented. They live more in the body. They feel more. They can visualize the body more. Women are more body oriented than men. But anyone who can feel the body, who feels the body, can visualize, who can close his eyes and feel the body from within. This technique can be useful for that person. Then visualize the spinal column, and in the middle, the silver cord running through it. First, it may look like an imagination. Then by and by, you will feel the imagination has disappeared and your mind has become focused on the spinal cord. Then you will see the spine. The moment you see the inner core, suddenly you will feel an explosion of light within you. Sometimes this can happen without any effort. It happens sometimes. Again, in a state of deep sex act, it happens. Tantra knows. In deep sex act, your whole energy becomes concentrated near the spine. Really, that is why people go for Tantra, for techniques like this. Really, in deep sex act, the spine begins to discharge electricity. And if someone, even if you touch the spine, you can get the shock. If the intercourse is very deep and very loving and long, really, if 2 lovers are just in deep embrace, silent, not moving, just being filled with each other's energy, remaining in deep embrace, it happens. It has transformed many times that a dark room will suddenly fill with light and both bodies will be surrounded by a blue aura. It happens. Many such cases have happened. Even in some of your experience, it may have happened, but you have not noticed. In a dark room in a state of deep love, suddenly you feel light around both bodies, and the light spreads and fills the entire room. You would have not noticed. Many times it has happened that suddenly things drop from the table in the room without any visible cause. And now psychologists say that in act of deep sex, electricity is discharged. That electricity can have many effects and impacts. Things may suddenly drop, move, or be broken. And even photographs have been taken in which light is visible. But that light is always concentrated around the spinal cord. This is true. So sometimes in deep sex act also, and Tantra knows this well and has worked on it, you may become aware. If you look within to the thread running in the middle of the spinal column, and Tantra has used the sex act for this realization as well. So when these techniques are advertised, it attracts the people from around and they join the Tantra group. I will start this. This happens as a side effect, but I will not advertise this. But then the sex act has to be totally different. The quality has to be different. It is not something to be gotten over with. It is something to be done for a release. Not something to be done for a release. It is not something to be finished hurriedly. It is not a bodily act then. Then it is a deep spiritual communion, and through two bodies, it is a deep meeting of two innernesses, of two subjectivities penetrating each other. So I suggest you try this technique in deep sex act, then it will be easier. Just forget about sex. When in deep embrace, remain inside. Forget the other person. Just go inside and visualize your spinal column. Forget the other. Visualize your spinal column. It will be easier because then more energy is flowing near the spinal column and thread is more visible because you are silent, because your body is at total rest. Love is the deepest relaxation, but you have made love a great tension. We have made it as an anxiety, a burden. In the warmth of love, relaxed, warmth of love filled, relaxed, close your eyes. But when ordinarily do not close their eyes, but women do close their eyes. That's why I said women are more body oriented than men. In a deep embrace, in the act of sex, women will close their eyes. Really, they cannot love with open eyes. With closed eyes, they feel the body more from within. Close your eyes, feel your body, relax, concentrate on the spinal column, and this sutra says very simply, in such be transformed, and you will be transformed through it. Only this much for this morning, until we meet again. We will take certain questions. Before taking the next 3 sutras that are to penetrate this center. These 2 sutras were aimed at centering. Now the next 3 sutras are concerned with penetrating the center. Until then, take care and do have a pleasant day. If any question arises, you can post it and I will try to respond. Until then.